I'm gonna be 55 this year, and I had to face something really uncomfortable. I've worked since I was 15, and I have nothing saved for retirement. And it's hard to say out loud, but it's true. But instead of letting that truth shape me, I'm letting it wake me up. I don't want to spend the rest of my life just trying to survive. I want to build income in a way that actually gives me freedom and flexibility and just enjoyment in life. So that's what I'm doing now.
All right, so look, I don't know how else to say this, but Americans should stop showing up to work. It's all a scam. Every morning, millions of Americans drag themselves out of bed before the sun even rises. Tired, anxious, and already thinking about the bills that need to be paid. We rush through our routines, grab us a cup of coffee, sit in traffic, and convince ourselves that this is what it means to be an adult. But what we're really doing is showing up day after day, just to keep paying for a life that never feels like ours. We've been taught that this is normal. We've been taught that our sense of worth comes from how much we can produce, how busy we stay, how hard we grind. We've been told that struggle builds character and that exhaustion means that we're doing something right. But what we call work ethic is really obedience training. It teaches us to ignore our own exhaustion, to confuse pain with purpose, and to worship the same system that keeps us living in survival mode. At first, the system love bombs you. It tells you that if you just work hard, that you can be anything. You can go anywhere. You can have everything. You can have your Jet 2 holiday. It feeds you that American dream fantasy, one that promises you freedom if you stay loyal and compliant. But once it has you hooked, then the tone changes. Now your worth is just tied to your productivity. You give it your energy, your peace, your health, your time with your family, your youth. And in return, it gives you debt, burnout, and just enough comfort to stop you from walking away. Working in this economy is like being in a toxic relationship, but on a national scale. You ask for more, it gaslights you. You should be grateful that you even have a job, okay? All these places, they ain't paying what we paying right here. You have an opportunity, and you should be grateful. You should be grateful.
Living in America is exhausting. You wake up tired, you go to work tired, you come home, barely surviving, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, come home, and you're still broke. Every single month, rent's due, rent is through the roof, groceries are double what they used to be just 2 years ago. You go to the gas pump to fill up your car and it's like you paid another car note. Everything, and I mean everything, is up in price. But your paycheck, still the same. And once inflation gets done with it, it's probably even a little less. Yet somehow, they keep telling us, just budget a little bit more. Just work a little bit harder. Like, I'm sorry, how many jobs do I need now? 4? 5? 7? That's not living. That's barely surviving.
America is a work until you die country. I just had a conversation with an individual because I'm looking for jobs, and this individual had my resume, and they were asking me, what is this gap here from this month to this month? That's when I was traveling, right? That's when I was actually experiencing life. So I took about 6 months, and I traveled the year of 2025, and I told them this, right? I elaborated, and they go, interesting. And then when they were kind of reading back to me what I had said, they described it as a hiatus. I didn't really know. I've heard the word. I didn't really know the exact definition. I Google it. So it's a break or a pause in something, right? That's the loose definition. Can you explain to me how stepping away from the matrix, from the system, from this god-awful corporate nonsense country that we live in, to actually experience real life for just like 6 months out of my 27 years, they describe it as a hiatus, a break or pause in what? In what? Being an employee, being a worker ant? Like, that's how they view it. They view like doing real life things as hiatuses, as a break or a pause from the real timeline. These individuals are twisted. It's not their fault per se, but they're grown adults that are just so warped because of the system that they grew up in and could never figure it out, that this is wrong, this is unhuman, this is bizarre. Like, that's bizarre. You're bizarre. I'm not bizarre. I'm trying to be healthier. You're bizarre.
Why do so many of us in America look broke down by the time we turn age 50? I'll tell you why. We've been worked into the dirt. And see, every time I go out, I notice this. Our bodies are tired. People limping, backs hurt, knees shot, and feet straight busted. It's like people are walking billboards for what overworking does to the human body. And let's be honest here, it's not genetics, y'all. This is capitalism. See, in America, you literally work until your body falls apart. You ignore pain, you push through injury. You skip checkups because you don't have the time and you don't have the money. And then by the time you're older, your body cashes the check that your job wrote years ago, but then it bounces. Now, compare that to older people in other countries. You'll see 70-year-olds still walking to the store, riding bikes. Meanwhile, here, we got 45-year-olds moving like they're 90. And why? Because in America, see, your age is not just an indication of how long you've actually lived. It also tells how hard you've been worked. And you know the wildest part of it all? After all of that work, you don't have nothing to show for it. All the money you made is already spoken for. Bills, debt, medical costs, food, rent, mortgage, that money gone. So you gave your body and you gave your youth, and you don't even get any peace or security in return. So when you hear somebody ask, why do Americans look so beat down? It's not just age, y'all. It's a system that grinds you up, spits you out, and then blames you for not taking better care of yourself.
American hustle culture is not normal. Maybe it's normalized to us, but it's not normal to the rest of the world. We work more than almost any other country. We rank 8th place in the entire world for hours worked. On top of that, we are the only advanced economy without any federally mandated vacation time. We also don't have any federally mandated sick days. I mean, how many days have you had to go into work sick because you just didn't have any time off? And even if you do have a job with time off in the United States, you're probably too guilty to use it. And on top of all this, because life is so expensive, people here are working older and older. It seems like we are just bombarded constantly with messaging tell us to work harder and just grind. Here you have 2 jobs and a side hustle, and people brag about working on the weekends. Just because something is normal doesn't necessarily mean it's healthy, and if you look around the world, people look at us like we work a lot, maybe even too much. There are alternatives, and traveling really opens your eyes to this as you see the way that other countries work or not work as much. Hustle culture isn't really the badge of honor that we're all making it out to be. Americans are burned out, and it shows. Because if other countries can be more productive while working less and also being happier, maybe they're onto something. And maybe it's worth thinking about here.
My dad's younger brother recently asked me a question, and he went like, what have you done in the last 5 years? And do you have anything tangible to prove it? I kept quiet. So a discussion like this really resonates with me. I mean, it can be frustrating, I know. It can be acceptance that leads people to just finally come out like this and finally be ready to have such conversations. But coming out like this it does take courage, and not having anything tangible to show for the amount of work or the hours, the years that you put into work, that is frustrating. A powerful nation such as the United States is a superpower. It's the most, I guess, superpower amongst the superpower in the world, right? Like, they created a formula for giving so much value to their currency, the dollar, right? That every other country in the world has to conduct international trades using the dollar. That means that they've amassed a lot of wealth, a lot of money, and a lot of value attached to their dollar. But for their citizens to be complaining like this, that is just so heartbreaking for people that have watched their country struggle and they've partaken in those struggles, trying to like build it, trying to, Americans are one of the most hardworking people. Americans are one of the most caring people, and people that have sponsored and funded almost everything in the whole world. So seeing people that are citizens of such a powerful country talk about not having anything to show for their work is just so heartbreaking. Personally, I think that shouldn't be the case. But this is a great example for us to learn from. If we are third world countries and we are behind, I guess we can only learn from those that are ahead of us as Africans. And this is just my opinion. It doesn't have to be like a fact or a truth, but I think this is just what I think is on the ground. But with that being said, these are some of the opinions that people have, and I know that you can have your own opinion. So kindly leave that in the comment section. As we just carry on with this conversation, it's always wonderful to have a different perspective and a different voice out there. Just leave a comment for us.
Man, every day, most of us wake up and go to a job that we really don't like, but we can't really quit because we got to get the money to pay the bills that they say it's important to pay. What the fuck is the point of this life, man? We go to grocery stores and buy food that God gave us for free. Why the fuck did we pay for lights? Well, that's just the way it is. Fuck you. I'm tired of all this. That's just the way it is, bull. This whole fucking system is garbage. America ain't nothing but a big ass plantation, man. A big ass plantation. What the fuck are we doing here? There are days I don't want to be on this earth. And I'm not saying I want to unalive myself and nothing like that. But I'm tired, man. It's like, what the fuck is the point of any of this? To work till we 60, 70 years old? Most of us ain't gonna live to see 50. But we gotta work to maybe retire. Man, fuck you and all that bullshit, man. I don't give a fuck about who president, left, right, and all this shit. I'm tired of this whole game, man. It's a big ass game. It's a big ass charade. America is a fucking plantation. I don't give a fuck nobody got to say about it, man. This shit is exhausting. Like, I don't even want to look for another job. I'm gonna walk in there, they gonna ask me, why do you even want this job? Bitch, because I need some fucking money to pay the bills that they tell me is important to pay. Get out of here, man.
So what are some of the reasons do we have that people have for not showing tangible evidence for their work? I think one specific reason is the dog-eat-dog system in multi-million or multi-billion-dollar corporations. The dog-eat-dog system simply means how millionaires or entrepreneurs are really willing to put other people's lives on the lines just to create these millions or these billions. It's just really interesting to see how people are willing to put or to throw away their morals or their dignity just to amass their first billion. So I think the fact that we have multi-billion-dollar corporations and are legally entitled to like suppressing people in their workplaces also has contributed to people not having tangible evidence for their work. And which brings me to the founders of these companies not having a heart for people. Like, I know you would think that nobody should take care of you, not even your boss, but actually they should. Like, they should have that humility, that dignity or integrity to show up for humanity and support humanity. Because if somebody enabled you or helped you to amass billions, you are basically a multi-billionaire. How in the world do you lose by helping them? Because you were giving them peanuts. And now that you are a billionaire, don't you think it is only fair enough even to just like provide free healthcare for your employees or something? Like, I know that sounds petty for some people. It sounds like what kind of a boss or a leader can do that? That's what good leaders should do. Which also brings me to the third point: leaders that don't care enough. And it might sound similar or familiar with the second point, but this one I just mean like government leaders that know that even though they implement laws into place, these laws will not be fair for people, or will not be just for other people that are in their country, especially poor people. Like, for example, Ronald Reagan introduced a certain law. It was called the Economic Recovery Tax Act in 1881, which reduced the top individual income tax from 70 to 28%. Now, I know it sounds like a small thing to do, but imagine billionaires that were paying 70% in taxes are now paying like 28%. And you know, the surprising thing is that his excuse for reducing these taxes for the rich was that these people would be enabled to provide a much suitable environment for their employees to work properly. That was his excuse, and I guess people at the time just believed him and bought into that narrative, even though it has just resulted in one of these chaoses or part of these chaoses. And with that on top, we also have people that have evaded or like avoided paying taxes. Like we have a lot of ways that these billionaires avoid paying taxes. Like they will tell you they own a company and they've got like a seashore company or something. So there are a lot of ways that these leaders have supported rich people that have suppressed, their employees. So it's just something that you really have to think about a lot. And it's something that I think conveys to everybody and not just people in the land of the free. Like it really does have weight. And then the other thing is Ponzi schemes and fake or failed investment opportunities or platforms. Now, how many Ponzi schemes have you come across lately on social media or just on the internet? Just by logging into your social media, I'm pretty sure you come across 5 to 10 Ponzi schemes or at least investment or alleged investment platforms that once you give into the narrative of you invest now and you're gonna maybe reap out millions, you lose out on your money. And as much as most people do not really tell us this, a lot of people have tried Ponzi schemes. They've tried investing, at least in Ponzi schemes, not knowing that they were Ponzi schemes. For example, how many crypto coins have come out in just 2025 alone? And from 2016 to 2026, how many Ponzi schemes have been there? It's a lot. It's a lot of Ponzi schemes. It's a lot of platforms. It's a lot of said entrepreneurs that have gone down simply because they tried to create a fake opportunity and people lost out countless of millions. So as much as this conversation goes, it's a lot of things that people have come across that has led to them not having tangible evidence or proof for their hard work, because hard work in itself is not enough for people to just live their lives. You really need smart ways of investing, like buying assets and all that. But as far as this discussion goes, that in itself also needs a certain level of awareness or knowledge. And in the pursuit of freedom, especially financial freedom, people find themselves going through a lot of blockages, a lot of setbacks that prevent them from becoming financially free. So it's a lot of things that have taken place, but I think the three main points that we looked at are some of the reasons as to why people are majorly suffering and struggling all over the world, not just in the land of the free. If we had leaders that were able to provide a listening ear and were able to act on the words or the promises that they've given their people, I think we would see less and less of these problems. But what do you think after this discussion? What do you think is really a major consideration that we might have omitted or forgotten in this discussion? And remember, this conversation is for educational purposes only. So I'll see you in the next one. Don't forget to like, to share, and also subscribe.